The Bucs squeak out an ugly win versus the Patriots. Let's check it out.
Climb aboard with Steven and Scott and batten down the hatches.
So the Bucs win 19-17 in New England against the Patriots. Obviously, it was an emotional game for Brady coming in, and that was kind of the angle that it was talked about. I don't feel like anybody was putting that much on it in that regard other than the talking heads and like people in New England. I think it was a big game for them. You know, having that nostalgia and the guy come back who brought him all that great stuff. But I think for Bucs fans and everybody else, I think we were kind of sick of it personally. I was like, who cares?
Bruce Arians was saying Tom Brady is a part of the Bucs. This was a game the Bucs won.
What did he say? Belichick didn't play a snap.
Yeah.
I think he said. The game started off kind of slow. They received, they punted, we punted, they punted. There was obviously the fumble that occurred that they reversed. They eventually ruled this an incomplete pass, which if this is an incomplete pass, that means that is a pass deflection.
Yeah.
Which would be the first one of its kind I've ever seen like that. And then what? I think the refs walked that back after the fact, right?
There was some quotes by Arians, the interview that he had post-game or whatever, where he even said himself, he's like, I always thought when you have possession and you move towards the other goal, like, that's fumble. I don't even know what a fumble is anymore.
If we run through it, right, he bobbles it there, that's fine. But right here...
So that's possession.
This is possession and a foot down. I would say that's you can't possess the ball any more than that, right?
Yeah, that's...
And he starts to tuck the ball.
He tucks it, which is
to me, that's a football move. That's a move common to the game. But either way, you got to get 2 feet down, which he does. That's a second foot. And then he's got the ball so possessed that he takes a hand off of it to start doing other football moves.
And his next foot is down here.
You could possibly start to say he almost gets 3 feet at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, he has at least his toe down here.
Yeah. So.
And then the ball's out.
Yeah.
It's punched out perfect.
White picks it up and returns it to about the 20 or the 18 or something like that, somewhere in that range. So we'd get the ball. This is a big time moment, first quarter, when we've done nothing but punts. They've done nothing but punts. This is the third drive of the game. It would have changed everything. Before we go on, we want to let you guys know about this sweet deal we have on this custom long Tom Cannon t-shirt design, available in different colors and styles. Check the link in the description below to get yours now, and be sure to use promo code BDTH at checkout for 10% off. So that led to us receiving the ball starting at our own 18, where we did drive the ball down 71 yards and settled for a field goal. We did end up getting points finally. Otherwise, it was a pretty slow first quarter. We did get a pick in the first quarter here right after that drive. As you pointed out, they were giving a lot of praise to Mac Jones in that game, like he tore it up and he played well, but he only threw one pass over 20 yards that game, and it's the one that got picked right there, which came off of a tip. It came off pressure from Devin White. Otherwise, he didn't throw the ball deep at all. Like, we were kind of playing a keep it in front of us defense the entire game, which could be because of the corners are all banged up.
That's traditionally what we've seen out of Bowls outside of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Last year, we didn't really play any press, despite our corners are the best in press, and we don't play any press man. We play some, but we don't play enough based on the skill set of the guys we have, just because Bowles is stubborn about trying to stop the run,
which he does,
and keeping things in front of the defense. Mac Jones took what was there. There weren't any deep passes for him to throw.
So we were getting after him too, quite a bit.
Yeah.
So we got the pick. Again, able to put a good drive together, but unfortunately missed the field goal. Obviously winning a game 19-17, that came into play big time. And that was a chip shot too. So Bucs fans really after the first quarter not feeling incredibly confident. We only had, it was 3 points in the first quarter, could have been 6. Could have been more if we got the fumble, but play on, right? So second quarter, they actually put a drive together and get a touchdown and go up 7-3. It's like, it's weird. Each team was playing down to each other at some point. When we couldn't move the ball that much, they couldn't move the ball that much. And then when we put drives together, they started putting drives together a little bit. So we were able to get another field goal to make it 6-7 right before the half. So we come out of half, we receive the ball and 3 and out, unfortunately. And then we actually force a fumble here. Antoine Winfield forced the fumble, and Richard Sherman actually recovers it, so he's already in the mix. I mean, he played pretty well. I think people were kind of saying he wasn't all that great. Personally, I don't think he played any worse than anyone else on our defense, especially coming off of not playing in a long time. I think he was around the ball a lot. I think he tackled well.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't able to stick with people in man coverage that well, but I think for what we asked of him on short notice, I think he did pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, he's still getting his legs under him. As we all know, he's been out of football for quite a while. So I feel like he's only going to get better. He stepped right into that left cornerback position and played the whole game when he thought he was only going to get like a handful of snaps and get worked in. So once Carlton went down, he knew, he made mention of it. He's like, all right, I'm not going to get any more breathers. I'm going to be out here for the rest of the game. And I thought he played really well. There was a mic'd up clip, too, of Antonio Brown where he was on the sidelines talking to him, like gassing him up a little bit. And he told Antonio Brown, he's like, man, my legs are like Jell-O.
He had to step in on, 3 days' notice and go full game speed.
Yeah.
So that's a turnover we get, and we don't do anything with it. And then late in the third quarter, we actually get our first touchdown. Ronald Jones runs one in to put us up 13-7. And then again, going back to what I said, when we get going, they get going a little bit. They answered right back with a touchdown of their own to the tight end. So going into the fourth quarter, they're up a point, and then we just keep trading field goals. A big thing we were talking about, too, this drive here where we had to settle for a field goal. 7 plays, 24 yards. 1st and 10 at the New England 32, we do a 2-yard run. Not amazing. And then these 2 plays right here, to me, I didn't really like the play call. They literally throw 2 to Antonio Brown on the go routes in the end zone. It seemed like they were content to settle for a field goal there, which is a 48-yard field goal at that point in the rain, and he already missed one earlier in the game. I was not thrilled about these 2 calls. They're low percentage passes when you only need 8 yards to keep the chains going, to keep the clock moving. Obviously, if he Antonio Brown, he did almost catch the second one on 3rd and 8. I mean, obviously, if he caught it, it's a great play call, but I didn't like the play calls there. I would like to see something shorter. I think I said it last week, lean on Evans. You get yards on 2nd down, 3rd and short, you lean on Evans to just hit a quick slant. Just get a first down, keep the clock going. And even if you have to settle for a field goal, you have a much more manageable one than 48 yards. Luckily, he does nail it, and the game continues on, but I didn't really like the play calls there on 2nd and 3rd down, personally.
It's almost as if they were maybe trying to change the momentum with something like that. They were trying to stay out of the red zone, perhaps, because they felt they might have a better shot getting the touchdown from further out. There were 2 great passes by Brady. We talked about it during the game. We were like, why would they even call that? There's more than 2 minutes on the clock at that point. Why are they not running the ball? Because they're running the ball so well. They just did. They need to run out the clock.
2nd and 8, it's probably a decent time to take a long, deep ball shot. But if you miss, you leave yourself at a long 3rd down, which is the downside there. I just think situationally, in a close game, in the rain, I don't know if I would have went for 2 low percentage passes because it stopped the clock. And then would it leave us with a very long field goal attempt? A low percentage kick, too. After he already missed one in the rain. So I don't know. It didn't seem like a good series of play calling to me. So we give them the ball back. They take it a minute to go 23 yards to get 6 plays. 1st and 10, they actually move the ball here on a penalty, which there's a great thrown flag there by the ref. He might want to get signed somewhere to a team. So we get called on a pass interference here on Whitehead, where the ball's thrown behind their receiver, and it looks like Whitehead's making a break on the ball here and kind of just gets caught up with the receiver, who's not even making a play on the ball. That, to me, this is kind of a no call, in my opinion. I think it's obvious that Whitehead's trying to get to the ball there. It's within 2 minutes. Nobody can review it.
If anything, if the offensive guy was looking at the ball and the defender is not, that's called every time. And on that play, Hunter Henry wasn't looking at the ball at all. Whitehead's dialed in on it, and Henry just comes and runs right into him. So really, it should have been offensive pass interference.
I mean, you're
going to call anything.
I feel like you could maybe make that argument, right? Because Whitehead has a right to get to the ball, and Henry runs through him instead of going for the ball. So yeah. I don't think I would call it pass interference on offense. I don't think I would have called this at all, though.
Right. I'm just making the argument. If you have to call something, it's going to be on the offense.
You could definitely make that argument, I think. That moved the chains for them. That got them closer to field goal range, and then big 3rd down here, 3rd and 3. You had made a note during the game that we don't really swat a lot of balls down. We get close to getting in and getting sacks, but they're able to zip the ball out past us every time. It's like, why are we not getting our hands up a little bit more? You had mentioned that. And then play of the game here at clutch swat right there to make them go for a 56-yard field goal here, which they end up missing. And again, you want to go back and talk about which way the game's going to go. We have 2 timeouts, and we would have had 55 seconds after the kick. We have Tom Brady. It's not that this would have definitely been the nail in the coffin for them, but it would have been a bad ending to the game if we didn't go and get the win on a comeback. It's not a position that you want to put yourself in at the end of the game, but we did, and luckily the ball bounced our way. He misses it by like a football. like a football to the right, and he gets that in. He has the distance at 56 yards, so good bounce for the Bucs.
What was it? The time on the clock when he missed that?
It was 55 seconds.
So you could argue, how many timeouts did we have?
2.
2. We had 2 timeouts with 55 seconds in the GOAT.
Yeah, I still would have felt pretty confident, especially after we just nailed a 48-yarder. Like, I feel like we would have gotten down into field goal range. I feel pretty confident with that. But then I don't want to win the game on a game-winning field goal in the rain at 56 yards. I don't want to be the Pats in that situation.
Yeah.
For sure. So
Me either.
I'm with Brady on this one. Fist pump. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
So looking ahead to next week, we are taking on the Dolphins at home. The Bucs are heavily favored. 10 points is roughly where the spread's at right now. 10 points is a big spread to me. That kind of scares me personally. I think the Bucs will win. We're pretty banged up. We actually have the Eagles after that on a short week, so hopefully we can win the next couple games. They're definitely winnable. I don't know if they'll be 10-point wins though, but what do you think?
I think the Dolphins game could definitely, they could probably cover that spread. The Dolphins are struggling on the O-line quite a bit. I think Tua's still going to be out this week. Brissett's been playing pretty terrible. I think this is probably a big sack game for us.
I like it.
Offense, I think that we should go with sort of the same game plan that we would have liked to see in the last game. Lean on the run game because they're susceptible to the run as well. They have 2 really good starting corners in Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, who may or may not play because he also has a quad injury, much like Carlton Davis. This is obviously a very winnable game. I just hope they don't try and look past it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they don't do that, we should probably get back in the 30-point range. We should be able to stop their offense, I would imagine, because they're not really passing the ball that well anyways.